We're back! Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mickey Sightings. We have made it back from the final frontier. Good to have Jack Santa Claus in the house with us tonight. Good to have Frankie here with us tonight. Hey, everybody. Frankie, I have something just for you. You saw what I Instagrammed you today, the picture of the T-shirt. I thought I'd show anybody else that was online a little bit later, but I saw that. I don't even think Susie's seen it yet. How cool it is. I'm gonna flash over to it real quick so you guys can see it. You won't be able to hear me because you know it does this weird thing here on StreamYard, but check it out. Let's see if I can.
I haven't even seen this.
I'm having to go sideways here. All right. Let's see if I can get. That is so you, Frankie.
That is so you. Yeah.
I saw that, and I thought it was your shirt, and you had posted it on Instagram, and then I saw that it was an ad, and I went,
"Oh, wow, that is so Frankie."
That is Frankie. So that was really, really cool. Oh, the question is, where have we been? Well, kind of the question is, where haven't we been?
Where haven't
we have been home. Pretty much like everybody else. So we just kind of want to update everybody, and we're kind of in a new location, so to speak. And that's kind of part of why we haven't been online, is that we are redoing the studio or the Mickey room, and I'm putting shelves and stuff.
It is in a disastrous state.
It is. And I was hoping to be further along in the process than I am. So we're here in our music room instead. So this is our studio for right now, and maybe for the next several live streams.
It's a temporary studio.
You're right.
Yeah.
So hopefully the volume is good, and hopefully the video is good too. This is a wall of all of our pictures from Disney that we have. We have them scattered throughout the house, but we didn't do this just for the video, but it did kind of make a perfect backdrop.
How it looks all the time.
It did, but anyway, so let me go back to February. If you remember back in February, the middle of February, Susan and I got terribly sick with what we called then the non-flu flu.
Yes, it was awful.
It was horrible. And our doctors seem to think now that we actually probably had COVID-19. And so it was.
But we haven't been tested because there's really no reason to.
But they think that's what we had. Becca didn't get it, thankfully. But you guys, we almost like I had a hiatus then because we'd been so sick. We didn't have voices. We come back.
Well, and it took me 3 weeks on an inhaler to get back to where I could breathe well. Mm-hmm. It was not fun.
No. And so we had just kind of come out of that when COVID literally hit. And one of the things, and this is a little bit more, I guess, my thing, and I think Susie and Becca feel it too, but this is kind of a hobby for me. And it's a hobby for our family. But our channel kind of had become kind of my hobby. Well, and most of you guys know, I pastor a church here in North Florida, First Baptist Church of Dowling Park. And when all of a sudden my hobby became my job, in meaning that everything went live stream. And, it's so fortunate that we had a setup, we had a camera that was decent. We had, resources that we had learned over the course of time.
Knew how to do it.
So a lot of our pastor friends who didn't, we were helping them get started, which took a lot of extra time. And in the mix of all, I spend every church service in front of this camera. I do every meeting for our church in front of either this camera or the camera on my Surface Pro. So what was my hobby, personally speaking, became like my job. So it was like the channel just went because the last thing I wanted to do was get in front of the camera
again.
But we're like, we got to do this. People have been asking. I think people thought we had just died. And
and by the same token, y'all know I'm a school teacher, and so if you have kids or know people who have kids that go to school, you know what that kind of just erupted into.
Yes.
And then, of course, Rebecca being in school, it was a big learning curve there.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, all of her stuff went in front of this camera, and Susie's stuff went in front of the camera. So all of a sudden, our hobby became in front of the camera to where by the time we were finished doing our jobs
It
We
was
didn't want to
like-
be in front of the camera. I mean, honestly, that's terrible to say,
Yeah.
but it was all. It's
Now
like
we
camera
have
fatigue.
thoroughly enjoyed watching y'all be in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, we have, and but Becca, she's got something to say too. She wanted to.
So, but as I was saying,
Everybody look at her. We
Yeah,
got the
but-
preteen thing going on. Everybody look at her.
okay. So, but the thing about my school, luckily, was that they did packets instead of actually doing the classes online. So we'd only do like a review for the packets, like our teachers would call, or we'd do a Zoom meeting. Well, copyright.
No.
You're fine.
Okay.
No copyright.
Well,
Yeah,
we'd
no
do
copyright.
a Zoom meeting where the whole entire class was together and we went over everything. But luckily, my teachers weren't that big into the packets. They weren't all, let's jump in to the packets. So we kind of hung loose with it, but we got them done every week. And I actually finished them early. So I was out of school, 2 weeks early?
A week.
Yeah, a week.
Yeah.
A week early.
Yeah. So the house, like a lot of Americans and people around the world, suddenly their house became their schoolhouse too. So yeah, just crazy
Yeah.
stuff. And then
And then
with
of course
it being
Disney
nice
closed.
weather, Disney closed. So it was like, now we don't even have any Disney news
to talk
And,
about.
I so appreciate Amy continuing doing trivia. It was almost like, oh gosh, it was almost like with Disney being closed, it almost kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. I was still watching everything and
Yeah.
watching a lot of you guys and
Well,
trying
and,
to
and
interact.
everybody
but-
kind of went to trivia, and we're like, well, we won't just jump on and do trivia. We'd
Yeah.
rather support our other channels like
Yeah.
Amy who do trivia.
yeah.
And so we're like, well, okay, now what?
But
and
now
then the weather got really
then the
nice.
weather got really great, and we started gardening. So
Yes.
we have transformed our yard, and we built a front porch onto our house.
Yay! It only took
So,
us years
20
and years and years.
So we have had a lot going on, and then when we get in, it would be like 9:00 at night. We're like, we really can't live stream. So
Well, and with the
It's been
time
crazy.
change and the sun being up for so much longer, yes, we're coming in at like 9:30, and going.
soaking
oh,
wet with sweat, dirty.
It's time for dinner.
Yeah.
And then by 10
Of course, we're all
o'clock,
cooking at home because you can't go anywhere. So
then by the time we finish cleaning up, it's like, oh, well, it's 11 o'clock. Not live streaming tonight.
Yeah,
So-
so then I decided to redo my room,
Yep.
and we,
Oh, what a project.
yeah, I will never forget. We were watching Monarch Moments
yeah.
with one of their
Uh-huh.
game nights. They were showing us all the Funko Pops, and we were sorting through. He was like, "What about this? No. What about that? Yes."
Yep, that's right. We
Yeah, that's pretty much what it
we
was.
have turned our house inside out. So it's been crazy.
If y'all have seen
But
the
we're back.
Mickey short, My Garden, the
Yeah, My
backyard,
Little
My Little Garden.
My Little Garden.
My Little
If
Garden.
you haven't, go watch it because that was what her room was like.
Yes.
My Little Garden.
And our backyard.
Yes.
So, but
then-
it isn't anymore.
So then we also did some crafts. We learned how to do epoxy.
And we're going to be uploading a video. They did a video of them actually doing the epoxy project, and we're going to be uploading that.
Look, see, I did an epoxy coaster. And look, I put one of my old pass holder cards in there and some little Mickey and Minnie heads. And it's like, it was so much fun. And it's so cool. So now that sits out on our front porch.
Yep. Yeah, we sit on our front porch in our Cracker Barrel rocking chairs.
Yep. So, and then I have to show you too.
Look what she did.
I did a welcome for our porch. Ta-da! Isn't he cute?
Yeah, but the way he's actually looking,
For nominal
It's
fee,
gonna
we'll
go
make you
to-
one.
Yeah, come to Florida, pick it up.
And Jeff and Angela, of course, you guys had already moved to Florida pretty much before we went on our hiatus. But you guys are seriously Floridians now. And Mouse Talk, seeing them now here in Florida, that is so awesome. I cannot wait for all of us to meet up.
To meet
Uh-huh.
up. That's going to be
when
so much
Disney
fun.
reopens. It is going to be so much fun. And Expedition Greg, our buddy, my brother Greg, he's my YouTube brother. He is now doing a Greg's travel log. So he's got 2 channels. So make sure, I think he's in the chat tonight.
yes,
So
he
get
sure
Greg's
is.
travel vlogs. He's in there. That's his second channel, and he's going to be doing a lot of other stuff on that. He's been doing some stuff through Instagram, so make sure you check out Greg's second channel there, and so that's awesome.
If you see us leaning in, we're checking text or
Yeah, sorry.
chat.
I've got
And chat is like this big.
Monarch Moments. Good to see you. Welcome to the house tonight. I've got, and
I
of
think
course,
Noah-
I've got my,
Anti-surgery.
got my glasses off so that I can not have all
Oh.
this reflective light.
That was
which
a
is a
funny
saga.
story.
Yes. So here I can't read without. For 3 months, I've tried to get an appointment for my glasses because if you guys remember back in February, my glasses just went. I don't work anymore, and so I finally
and
last
the pressure
Thursday.
in your eyes is high.
Yeah.
So they usually have to dilate his eyes. They over dilate them.
Yep.
And so he has to have somebody to drive it. Well, of course, I was at school, and then I wasn't at school, but not being at school, all the doctor's offices closed.
They closed, and the one that we use for our insurance is still closed.
Yep.
And so finally, last Thursday, I went to the eye doctor, and I got my prescription. So now I'm ordering my glasses. But anyway, I decided I'm going to have to put them on, otherwise I just can't see. But I'm telling you, this is so much fun. I love it.
Oh, where's your Disney Dad hat?
Oh yeah, I think I showed it, but let me get it.
You gotta get it.
Let me get it.
This is like the best hat. He absolutely loves this.
And
In fact,
thanks
it's
so
out
much.
on the
It's for-
dryer because that is where we walk out and he grabs it and goes. So Monarch Moments, thank you so much, Garrett.
Yes.
He absolutely loves
I love
this.
it. I get so many comments on this cap. Yep. There we go. There
He's
it
like,
is.
Oh, this is the perfect fitting cap.
It is here because of my brother Garrett. Thank
Yay,
you, Garrett, so
Garrett.
much, and you're awesome. And he and I and Jeff and whoever else, we're going to try to get together at Disney World and do our dad's hat.
And yep, definitely a photo pass
Yeah.
moment. you
Happy
know.
Father's Day, by the way. It's a little belated.
A little belated,
Couple
yeah,
days,
you know.
but happy Father's
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Father's
Happy
Day.
Easter.
Happy Easter.
But we made it
Happy
before.
Valentine's Day.
Just about. But we made it before the 4th of July.
Hey, all right.
So we got a few little 4th of July decorations back here, so, but it is awesome being back on. I love it. It's kind of, it was almost like pushing the play button for the first time, go live. It's like,
Is anybody going to
is
show
anybody
up?
going to show up?
Does
You guys
anybody
are awesome.
remember us?
Yeah. You guys are amazing.
See, what was that channel again we used
Yeah.
to watch?
What did that? Yeah.
Something about watching or seeing or sighting or
Yeah, thinking something. Nice hat, right, Jeff? It is nice hat, and Jeff's got one too. So
Oh,
everybody
Daisy.
will be wearing
Yes,
the hat. Yep, that is awesome. That's awesome. And I want to thank Disney Nerd Herders. Oh my goodness, they sent us some magic mail. Another kind of funny story is we live outside of a retirement community. It's actually has an assisted living facility and a nursing home, and I was administrator of that for several years, and until I went into full-time ministry at the church. And Daisy wants to visit. Vicky Siding's dog. Let's see. Garrett likes to see Daisy. Oh, Daisy.
Daisy, back it up.
We got to back it up. Turn your back up. Camera's on. Here.
The power has been disconnected.
Oh, look, I can't get her to stand.
Come here, Daisy. Come.
Stand up.
Come.
Stand up.
Come here.
If all of a sudden everything goes black, it's
Come
because the lab is taking it all out.
Look, stop. No.
Oh, she's laying
Stop
down.
laying down.
Oh, look, Mr. Garrett wants to see you. Watch your water.
Come here. you
Mr. Garrett wants to see you.
Stand up. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I got
You're
Okay.
gonna say. That's why I'm glad you moved the water.
All right.
That would have been a disaster. No, she does not want to be on the camera. There she.
All right.
No,
Daisy,
no, back,
out of here.
back.
Out of
You
here.
can't be in here now.
You can't be in here. Wow.
a furry bulldozer.
I've had my workout for tonight.
I've
No.
never seen such a camera shy dog. It's like
She's
if
like,
you go to take her camera or picture with the camera, just like immediately she knows when it's pointing at her, even the phone, and she's just like, I'm not going to do what I was doing. And she's so funny. But Garrett said the other day he missed seeing Daisy, so anyway.
Oh well.
Oh,
She's scratching her back now.
And so Daisy, we've all been doing our nightly walks, and with all this going on, and Daisy, She's been doing good, and so she got
She's
a
been
clean bill of
getting
health.
into shape.
Garrett, you're funny.
But Charlie and Stacy sent us a magic mail, and the post office, where we don't have a post office, we have a post office box for Mickey sightings, but we have a regular mailbox here at our house that regular mail is delivered in. So we only check our post office box every
Every so
2
often.
or 3 weeks.
Well, and then you have to hit just the right time. It's
Right.
like the
Yes.
second Tuesday of the fourth
Full moon
full
of the second.
moon of the
lunar eclipse.
to
Yeah.
get to the post office
Yeah.
when the door is always open, but
So when they closed, the federal government had all nursing homes and ALFs closed for COVID. That whole community closed to the public.
yeah,
So
close-
we weren't able
yeah.
to go to our post office box until last week. And Charlie and Stacy sent us this is embarrassing, April 15th, they sent us this card.
Where are y'all?
Yeah, and it's so amazing. It says, sending happy thoughts, your friends, Disney Nerd Herders. And of course, you guys know they're awesome too. They're
We
part of
love
our
y'all.
Disney family, and we love them very much. And hopefully we'll be able to see them in August if they're still going to
Hope
be able to
so.
make it down. I don't know if that's still their plan or not. And
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy, but we're gonna meet them. Hopefully meet
Meet
more of
up.
you guys.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you so much for the magic mail, and also magic. I should say magic Instagram mail,
virtual mail.
virtual mail. Pam did a portrait of Mickey sighting. So I'm gonna put that up on the screen here real quick and show you guys. Of course, like I said, you won't be
Again,
able
we'll
to-
lose audio.
We'll
for
lose
a
audio,
minute,
but here we go.
Here it is.
So isn't that
Yay!
cool? So thank you, Pam, for sending
Thank
us
you.
that. That was awesome, and I'm gonna get it printed out and frame it with the. Actually, your Mickey and Minnie picture that you drew for us is right up
Yep,
here.
it hangs on the wall
it hangs up
in
here
the
in
music
the
room.
music room. So it's right over my shoulder here. But it's been kind of crazy. I know when I've tried to jump into chat, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm like in and out. I felt so bad because I get in and I'm like so tired. My eyes get tired because I'm having to deal with my glasses and I can't. So, anyway, I apologize if I have offended any of you if you thought I've been flying in and out like a Boeing 747. But we're hopefully back on schedule
Pretty
and
much.
we'll be able
Pretty
to.
much. I already said autism. Yep, we're back.
Yes, Ready Set Autism. Okay, there's a story there. I'm
Yes.
still trying to find the package we sent you. We sent a package from us to them, and it went to Jacksonville during the whole COVID-19 thing. It evidently got sent back our way. Nothing indicates to us that it has been, but again, I'm trying to get to our post office where
When
our
somebody's
post office
actually
box is
the
there,
window is actually
so
open,
that we
and
can
you have
ask
a person
them.
to ask.
Yeah, so we're still trying to find that box, guys. I am just this is
We-
crazy.
It is kind of crazy. No, go lay
But
down.
we're
We already
so-
tried.
And hopefully, I know Ready Set Autism Family, with COVID-19, they were very concerned with their kids. And obviously, we all were,
Yes.
and still are. We are not out of the woods at all.
Well, and we're really not going anywhere. We're really even up in the air about the, Disney opens. Of course, if you haven't heard, Disney World opens on July 11th, at least as of right now.
Yeah.
And we're still a little bit up in the air about whether or not we're going to go.
yeah.
We really we miss Disney.
Oh, yeah.
We want to go. I just want to sit at the castle under the umbrellas and eat ice cream.
Yes.
That's I mean, if I ride nothing, I would be happy just to go and be back at Disney. However, that balances out with your personal health and well-being.
Yeah.
And we're just not even, we really haven't made up our minds. We're praying about it.
Yeah.
And,
We just,
and just see where
we
God
really don't
leads.
know. And, one of the issues we have is staying in a hotel and we really don't want to do that yet.
Yeah.
Our cases in Florida are spiking. I know you guys have probably seen that. Our cases in our county are really going up as well right now. And I know, more testing. I know people are out and about, but with that being said, that still means that there's virus out there. So we're having to really kind of play it by ear. Our sister Pam, in which she's not on tonight, but she is virtually on through Garrett. He said that she's giving us a big virtual bear hug. And but Pam's been great. She's been watching me preach every Sunday morning at our church through live streams. That's been awesome. I invite you guys, First Baptist in Dowling Park. You can watch me preach on Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights. And but it has been just crazy, and we're so excited about going back to Disney. But by the same token, we're kind of like, do we really, want to do that? And I know Angela and Jeff, you guys have been going over to Disney Springs, and I think Walt and Melissa, they were there, and
Resort TV One.
yeah, Resort TV One's been over there, and that.
Yeah, it's funny, it's like those of us who have always kind of done Disney Springs, Angela and Walt, and
they're really kind of viewed it as an
never really
amusement
thought of it as an amusement park, exactly. It opened up, and it's like all the big channels are all suddenly right there. It's Disney Springs, guys. It was like
everybody was like, "Wow,
okay,
the Disney Springs became an amusement park."
Yeah, it's either Disney Springs or Universal Studios.
But
at least for right now.
And I think that Disney is just doing a phenomenal job of really trying to put people and people's health ahead of profit, ahead of needing to get back to business, because they certainly do. But I'm very impressed with the methodical slowness of their steps to get back to.
I personally think
business.
Universal jumped the gun too soon. As you've seen, their crowds it's kind of hit and miss, but they've already had to lay off a lot of their employees because the crowds just aren't there. Because tourism just is not there yet. It took a 11-12% hit during all of this, and this is definitely would be the seriously upswing season for tourism in Florida right now. If you've ever been around, we were at Walt Disney World last 4th of July. We just did an overnight run. That's actually when we got our 100th subscriber. And I think
we'll still do something for our 1,000th.
We're still doing something.
We're still doing something.
As a matter of fact, I think we lost like 30 subscribers during the course of this because I think they gave up on us, but oh well. And we're back. And it is what it is. We don't do this for the count. We do it for the fun. And it was they've had to lay off employees and things like that, which is unfortunate. And I think Disney, which of course even like last night, it all of a sudden hit the rumor mill that Disney wasn't going to be reopening,
Well, and I think that was led because Disneyland is not going to make their, I think it was the 17th of July. But that really doesn't have anything to do with Disneyland's plan of action. That has to do with California's
well, Disney chose not
regulations.
But California had green lighted them, but Disney decided to not. And then Florida has been green lighted, of course. Orange County here in Florida has said, we're not going to tell you not to open. Mm-hmm. But Orange County is being very careful. I mean, you guys that live down there know you're required to wear face masks. And so, Disney, I'm hoping they will reopen. I know they're already doing some phase reopening. I'm hoping the parks will be. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't. I don't know, but or at least even maybe a more scaled back thing than they're looking at doing, because we had 5,000 new cases in Florida yesterday. We are surging tremendously. We're running in the last 2 weeks. We've had 3 times the number of cases per day than we've had previously.
Right.
So it's they're definitely up. So it's like I keep telling our church. I tell everybody, because we haven't gone back to our church building yet. We're still doing everything virtually. And we just have to be careful, and and I know Brady said autism. They're still in isolation, and it's our Disney store is still closed. Because you just have to be so cautious, And,
hey, Mike Wheeler,
Mike is in the house. Yay! Good to see you, Mike.
Monarch Moments, you're absolutely right. The cast members are even kind of split about going back. Some are, masks and safety precautions and that's going to be enough.
Space.
And then there are other cast members that are really nervous about going back because they have to interact even with a mask and everything. Yeah. And, I'm like, I don't even want to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know where the people who are there have been.
Yeah.
where the people who work there have been, who they've been in contact with, and this is so catchable that
It is.
it's like we try to stay out of large populated places.
Yeah.
Well, Disney is going to be a large populated
We've missed
place.
graduation parties.
Yeah.
3 families in our church had graduation parties. We opted out of them. We said, we love you and we'll, but we have to protect ourselves too, and so that's kind of
and
part
not
of the
just
decision.
us, but our family,
Our family.
because we have
My
family
mom-
members.
My
that,
mom is 80 and she has
Yeah.
dementia, and so we just had to take her to a doctor's appointment, a necessary one today. So we got home and showered because we've been in the
Mhm.
doctor's office all afternoon. So she can't afford to get it. So we have to be so careful, just like you guys. I mean, everybody's
Yeah.
have to be so careful.
Yeah, nobody
So-
really wants it.
But the issue, I know they've started petitions some of the cast members to not open Disney World when they said they were going to. Some of the issues I know that Disney cast members have reported is like their break room. They've taken out sofas and things like that. Understandably, they replaced it with chairs that can be wiped down. Totally get that.
Mhm.
That's the issue we're facing at our church right now. And but is that they're not going to open the cast member cafeteria or food service area. So the cast members are having to bring their meals, and they're not providing a microwave.
Microwaves.
They took
So
the
it's
microwaves
basically a
out, so they can't
sandwich.
even heat up their meal. So the cast members are really, I mean, I know everybody's had to make adjustments, but these
But
are some
that's kind of-
huge adjustments that they're being asked to make.
Yeah.
And so, these are definitely interesting times that we live in. For
Yeah,
sure.
but
Mhm.
speaking of Magic Kingdom, our regular Splash Mountain that we're used to in Walt Disney World is getting a total remodel.
That's the story that seems to be breaking today, really.
From
we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a minute.
Jeff wants to get to the Oreos before. Yeah, that's right. And so it's a matter of, just like we said, we've been praying about it. We've been talking as a family. What do we want to do? We'd love to go. I'd love to
Yes.
sit in front of, like Susie says, sit in front of the castle, eat ice cream, and our sister Pam virtually watches do it. She loves doing that.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, and then it's like, are they even going to have that? Because they
Right.
don't, they wipe down those tables, but not with the frequency of, so will they even have those open and out, so to speak?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, nobody really knows what it's going to look like.
and no
when you go
parades,
back.
or
no
cavalcade.
parades.
We're going to do the cavalcade type thing.
Right.
No fireworks, laser shows, things like
Which is
that. So it's going to be.
I go for the fireworks. I love the fireworks. That's just,
Well, we'll have to.
they could just play the happily ever after music and I'd be okay.
We play that. We do that here at
Oh,
home.
yes.
We have Disney music constantly playing in the background to keep us inspired. And,
Yep.
and of course, like I said, last 4th of July we were there, had a really good live stream. So
Great one.
we'll show all of that
Watch it again.
on. So
Yeah.
we're going to give our shameless plug to
Yeah.
watch our 4th of July fireworks video from last year, which was a lot of fun. And I think
Yes.
Greg was with us. If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, Greg was
Yeah,
there. And,
Greg was, and I think Lena.
no, that was New Year's.
That was New Year's.
Yeah,
That's
Lena
right.
and Greg were with us on New Year's, which
Right.
Lena has changed the name of her channel too.
last
Since
year.
Life with Lena, I
Life
love
with
the
Lena.
Life with
I
Lena.
like that.
That is really cool. And I've tried to jump in on some of the streams with she and Mama Mouse and trying to keep up with the gang, but it's been kind of tough. Ice cream sandwiches, that's such a classic boomer dessert, so I'm not surprised.
But
Yeah.
and then it's like, what's going to be open when you get there? Now, I think it would be really neat to see the park at 30% capacity. I don't know that I have ever seen the park at 30% capacity. The in my mind, I think the freedom to move without being hit by strollers and scooters and people kind of not being on top of each other and wait times not being 75 minutes for Peter Pan's flight, and that would be really cool
That would
to
be awesome.
experience.
Yeah.
Just to experience that.
Which I was talking about. Frankie was talking about going out to eat. It is very strange. We've been to Olive Garden. Olive Garden does our Olive Garden in our neighboring town has done a great job with social distancing, and we just feel very comfortable eating there. We've eaten there 3 times. We ate there today. We went to Texas Roadhouse, which was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good. We went there one time. Then we went to one of our local restaurants, and there was like no measures in place,
It's like
and we were
business
like,
as usual. We're like, oh,
nope, not happening. So yeah, Frank, you're absolutely right. It is really strange eating out.
Yeah.
And Mike had talked about third party there with the cast members. The the cafeteria and things like that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out.
And I mean, we are going to have to just take baby steps and come out of this a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Mike's saying, they're run by third parties, so it's a third party decision, and that's true.
Right.
Most all these big companies use a third party cafeteria type system, and so yeah, you're kind of, but the reality is that they still don't exist, regardless of whether it's a Disney thing or a third party. They're not there
Right.
for the cast members. So it's definitely going to be different. It's going to be different for everybody. I've told our church from day one, the name of the game is flexibility, and as this thing is going on, it's like just stay focused, because it's still changing every day, especially right now in Florida, because the numbers are changing, and we've got people in our church that are in areas right now where they're seeing high numbers of cases, and so it really adds a whole new dimension for everybody, for sure. Noah, good to have you in the house tonight. Yet Noah's another one that I think changed the channel name as we've been out and about. And T. Marie Photography, great to see you in the house tonight. Good to have you
Definitely.
here. And Greg had said earlier too, I know he's been hanging out at Disney Springs as well, and so that's really cool. But I just can't wait to be able to meet up with everybody and
Yes.
our new normal, because it's going to be like this for a while, and Disney with face masks is going to be very, very interesting.
Hot.
Hot.
That's one word that comes to mind. Two words: hot and stifling.
We go to Lowe's in about Paris.
That's what I'm thinking of. And I was watching somebody that was at Universal, and they were making a comment about how people were walking around with food and drink so that they didn't have to wear their masks.
Have to wear their mask.
And that sort of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. It's you got.
I know
people,
how responsible I'm going to be. I can I would be fairly certain of how responsible most of our Disney community is going to be. But then there are people who are out there who think that this is just a big joke.
Yeah. A conspiracy theory.
This is a hoax, or it's it's really not that bad. Well, I can tell you, if that's what we really had in February, we went to the doctor. I went on day 3, and it took me almost a month to get better. And I'm like, I don't want that again. And if it wasn't, and it's worse,
yeah,
I can't imagine either of the two of y'all being hospitalized where I can't go in with you in ICU.
Which we've had happen in our church family.
Ventilators and stuff, and then that leaves permanent damage.
We've had church members that have gotten sick, not with COVID, but have been in the hospital. We actually had a church member's daughter pass away early in this, not from COVID, but because of COVID. He could not be with her. Literally, they snuck him through the back door so that he could be there the day she passed away. I mean, it was crazy. I cannot imagine that. We've seen that played out over and over and over. So I wish people, and Garrett and I have talked about this in chat, and we've talked about it through Instagram, how we wish people would take it more seriously. And I'll be honest with you, I really like the way, and I know there's always hiccups and everything, but Garrett and them are out in California, and I've been really impressed by the way California's governor has handled a lot of things. I've been far more impressed with how he's done it than Florida's governor. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that, but I feel like the governor of California really kind of gets it, that there is a real potential for problem if you don't, and so certainly not getting political about it. I just think it's kind of goes back to what Susie said. Even in the political sphere, you see a lot of this. Well, it was enough for news stories for a while. Right. It's old news. Let's move on beyond it.
We're tired of it, so let's move on.
But this virus does not care about election year. It does not care about
whether
ratings.
You're tired of it or not.
Or whether you're tired of political parties. It doesn't care about any of that. So we just all have to just do our due diligence. I'm glad that we've been watching you guys, that we've been able to see that you guys have stayed healthy too.
Yes.
So that's been awesome, because we
Yes,
pray for all of you that you guys will be okay out there.
definitely.
Well, let's get into some news.
So let's do some news.
The elephant in the room, Splash Mountain. What do you guys think?
Oh, I can't wait.
Retheming. If you haven't heard, which I'm sure you have, the retheming of Splash Mountain into Princess and the Frog. Of course, merchandise has shot up all this time, Garrett. I've been delaying getting my Splash Mountain Funko Pops, only to now find that they are sold out everywhere, and eBay wants $300 for them. so if you have any Funko Pops out there, Song of the South, save one for Mickey sightings. But anyway, what you gonna say, Becca?
So I can't wait because I remember I was with my Aunt Dee the first time I rode Splash Mountain. We screamed our hearts out on the last drop. And I really can't wait to see the theming. But I am kind of sad because I do like the FSU groundhog.
I'm sure they'll figure out ways to keep little
It'll still
things
have
like
the
that.
drop. It'll still have the drop. But hey, Mouse Talk. Well,
Mouse
Melissa,
Talk.
good to have you with us tonight.
Well, I think
And Christine is in the house too. Good to have Christine with us tonight.
I really question why they're changing the theming. Was this already in the works? Was this something that not a lot of people, because Song of the South has been in the vault and has stayed in the vault and is not coming out of the vault? Is that, somebody said, well, gee, other than the people who had seen it before it went in the vault, nobody really knows that, but it's a story. Mm-hmm. It's a folk tale.
Right.
Now, are they changing it because of IP and just refreshing and renewing, or are they changing it because of social petitions? If they're changing it because of social petitions, I don't agree with that at all.
No.
Because that's all the way the wind blows. Somebody could just as easily come along and say, well, I'm offended by Princess and the Frog because this.
I mean, there. If you want to get into cultural offensities, there are as many of them in Princess and the Frog as there are in Song of the South.
Yeah.
Seriously. When you boil it down.
When you really
look
now,
at it.
It doesn't talk about slavery per se.
Right.
However,
it's there.
It's there if you look at it.
And
plus, I mean, Song of the South, you have to look at it. It was filmed in the 60s.
Right.
That's when people weren't looking at all of this cultural differences and everything. We've kind of evolved, and now people are looking back at it and thinking that it's all cultural stuff, when Disney, the company, didn't mean it to be like that. They meant it to be a family-friendly movie, but I'm sorry, but people today are easily offended, so now they're being offended by something harmless.
Well, and it's not so much even that it's completely harmless, but when you erase the past, when you overwrite history,
there are dire consequences.
The quote is when you overwrite history, then you're doomed to repeat it. And I just don't think that it's not something where, I'm going to stand up and say, wow, I'm proud of the fact that there was slavery and something. I'm not there.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. But that is part of our history. It's part of our history that I hope that we have learned from. We have come out of. But you don't see that happening from women's rights.
Right.
And you don't see that for the Japanese Americans who were in camps during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just don't really agree with if you ride Splash Mountain, it's not like you see they make a big production of it being Uncle Remus on the old plantation, happily singing and tapping his heels and stuff. It really is the story of Brer Rabbit and Brer Bear.
Right.
Brer Fox. And the thing about it is as a librarian, as a storyteller, it's a story. It's a folktale.
Yep.
It's not, and people can read into it what they want to read into. You can do that with almost any story that you want.
Yeah, any story.
Yeah,
but I'm sorry.
But if we're being offended by Uncle Remus and everything, then why are we not offended of Mary Poppins because it talks about women's rights in it.
Right.
And the way children should behave and
Exactly.
not behave, and what the family.
Well, the first Disney movie I ever saw as a kid was Song of the South. And I did not, as a kid, take away from that any racial overtones or undertones. As a matter of fact, I grew up here in Florida. I've grown up in the Deep South, and I've been here all my life. And I have and I'm not saying this to try to score any kind of, but my absolute best friend in the world is a black man. He and I,
the best man at our wedding.
Best man at our wedding. We've been best friends since we were in 7th grade. We have never seen color as an issue because we never made it an issue. He and I were, we've lost white friends, we've lost black friends as a result of our friendship over the years. And, things just have happened, but we've never made it an issue. And we've actually been asked by leadership of the Florida Baptist Convention to spearhead in our area a racial reconciliation ministry, because we have demonstrated since 7th grade that you can make this work. If you don't make color an issue, it's not
an issue.
And he is my brother, and he, his mom is my mama and my mom is his mama.
Yep.
Literally. It's how it is, and that's how it's always been. So, Mike's talking about too, like with Bob Chapek and the whole, merchandising and things, whether this was pre-planned, whether it was or whatever, Greg's like, it doesn't even fit in Frontierland. Tiana is my favorite princess. I love Princess of the Frog. I love the story. I love the music. I love it.
Don't see how it fits into Frontierland.
I do not see how it fits into Frontierland at all, but there you have it. And, I'm with Susie. If this was all done because of political and social motivation, I don't know.
Well, and just another listener said,
careful with all of that.
if people are really offended, then maybe they should cancel Mardi Gras and stop partying in a place built by slaves. Absolutely. This is a slippery slope. It's a tricky thing to cut out or to rewrite or wipe out history.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something to necessarily be celebrated.
Yep.
However, it's also not something that you should just push under the rug and act as if it never happened.
It never happened.
Also there was a lot, and we're not going to get into
politics. I know this is a very sensitive issue for everybody.
But there was a lot that happened in the Old South that
was not slavery. And and there were things that happened that were worse off from carpetbaggers and from other social factions. Well, I'll be honest with you. My family immigrated here from Sweden in the late 1800s. I'm second generation Swede here, and my family had farms, and my family had black people working with them, and not for them, but with them. And what I mean by that, my parents on my mom's side worked farmers with black people. They were not slave owners. They were what were considered like
kind of like
white,
laborers.
White trash, but laborers. They're white laborers working alongside of one another. And so when you see all this, that it was the white man and versus the black, that happened.
It did.
But there was a lot of that where it didn't happen, that they worked side by side. And that's the story that you don't hear. That's the scene I get in my family, is they work side by side. And that is the reason why growing up in the Deep South, I was never raised with that racial mindset, because color was never an issue in my family.
Right.
Never an issue. And if it is not, and I'll be honest with you, if we don't want color to be an issue, then take it off of job applications, take it off of housing out, take it off of all these avenues and get rid of it. And then color won't be a problem. So if you don't make it an issue, it won't be one.
Right. And I teach, I teach in very young grades, and even in the very young grades, you just don't see it until it's taught, until the social norms become settled and set.
Yeah.
Don't see, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. Everybody plays with everybody else. And, my best friend today is not my best friend tomorrow, is my best friend the next day, kind of thing. And it's not until they get a little bit older that you really see the the divisions start happening, and that becomes, I think, a lot of what society teaches, and that starts at home.
Yeah, my grandparents worked along blacks and cotton,
Tobacco?
and tobacco, their lives, and so one of my dad's best customers was a black man that he thought highly of, and they thought highly of each other, and would do anything for. It was never made an issue, and I put on somebody's little stream one night. All lives matter, and I don't mean that in a flippant sense. I mean that in I believe that God created all of us, and if all lives matter to Him, then all lives should matter to us. And so I just I celebrate the love for one another. I don't have to agree with what everybody does, but I can love everybody for who they are because we're all made in the image and likeness of God.
Right.
And like Greg said, put Splash Mountain over in in Disneyland. It works great in New Orleans Square.
Yep.
It'll work better in Disneyland, but it's going to be totally out of place.
It really is going to be out of place in Frontierland. And so then it's like, okay, well then do they retheme and rename Frontierland?
Right.
Because of this?
I look at The Princess and the Frog, and I see a black woman working under a white man.
Mm-hmm.
I see and I love Princess and the Frog. It's probably one of my, if not my top 3 Disney movies, and Tiana's my favorite character. But I see, a song talking about Cotton Kings.
Sugar Barons and Cotton Kings.
Sugar Barons and Cotton Kings.
You see voodoo and black magic.
Voodoo and black magic are the most, in Haiti, millions of people are seriously held slave to that religion. You see Ray portrays the Cajun people as being people who just live in swamps and don't have much intelligence.
And don't have,
there's enough stereotyping and undertoning in Princess and the Frog to sink the Titanic a second time. But like Susie said, they're all stories. You can read anything into a story if you want to start going tit for tat. So I agree with Frankie's right too, and I agree with what Susie said. If it was for IP, selling more merchandise, fine, do whatever you want to. Your private company. But if it's because of social
Western theme,
like Greg even said, Davy Crockett. But if it's because of petitions and so that is a very slippery slope for any company to walk out on. Yep. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
And that's the thing is folk tales, and Disney is a storytelling enterprise.
Yes,
that's what Disney set out to do, was to tell stories
all along. That's his plan.
Yeah. And sometimes I think that Hollywood and movies, they venture away from telling stories. And they get into the politics and the who am I going to offend and not offend, and it's like, tell the story, enjoy the story, and go on to the next story.
Mike makes a great point. He says, and not to get too political or anything like that, but if they have an issue with a folktale, then they need to get rid of the first 15 presidents. Yeah, who were slave owners? Slavery happened.
Yep.
Slavery has happened though since Abraham in the Bible.
And
slavery
it has happened beyond the borders of the United States of America. And it happened in the North as well as the South.
Yes, it did.
But
it's off
and it
not to get too
still
political,
happens.
but it is a sensitive issue.
And it still happens today.
You just can't erase
but
history.
not in America.
Hitler tried to erase history in Germany, and look where that came. Susie has a great friend who is German, and they have so many things that they cannot celebrate their traditions because they were eradicated.
Yeah.
And
they
now
were eradicated, or like German pride.
Yeah.
Is not. It's a very quiet, very tentative thing. You don't see German flags. So we have an American flag hanging off the front of our front porch. We're proud to be Americans, but you would not go to Germany and see that because the German pride that was part of all wrapped into the war. And
Mike said everybody's the same color to him.
Yeah, there you go. We should all be like Mike.
But
be like Mike.
Be like Mike. But it's crazy, and so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Certainly still love Disney.
Oh,
Love
absolutely.
Disney. But
I wish-
I
okay, so
can
what
be
would you
frustrated with something I love, and I think that's okay.
What would be a good Western story? Davy Crockett. But Davy Crockett. We went back. We've been enjoying Disney Plus during this.
Oh, we're watching all the Marvels in order
Yes.
too. Tonight's Captain
Yes.
America: Civil War.
Yes. Ant-Man was last night, and it was really good. I was skeptical because I was kind of like, really? But I really did enjoy it. It was really cool. But Davy Crockett would work. Toy Story with Jessie and
Woody.
Woody.
Yeah, Woody's
and
Roundup.
Woody's Roundup would kind of work. Although I think they'd have a hard time repurposing the animatronics
Yeah.
and
Well,
like
Toy Story
the
is
Steamboat
everywhere.
and Toy Story
It
is
everywhere.
So what other Western type? Okay,
What do you guys think?
Disney, you got to do like a Western apple dumpling gang.
Apple Dumpling Gang. That's what
Um,
we need.
Um,
That's what we needed. An Apple
Little
Dumpling
House
Gang
on the
ride.
Prairie, kind of,
Oh, by the way, Garrett said he could hook me up with Funko Pop because they got one for
Uh-huh.
$400 under his trench coat.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, $400.
The bargain
Yeah,
price
bargain
of
price.
$400.
That's my brother Garrett for you. But it's really interesting. And it's going to be kind of see how this all goes, and the course of all of it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, and of course, nothing's going to change tomorrow.
No.
This is
No.
years in the making.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, then there's that little problem, that little thing called money that they're kind of short of right now.
Yeah.
I mean, early on, a few weeks ago, they were talking about some of the Epcot projects that
Oh,
are
yeah.
that are either not going to
Like
happen,
Spaceship Earth will
is not going
not
to
going to go through
be
this refurbishment for a
referred.
while.
Or
Well, they've had to take out 3 or 4 lines of credit
right.
Disney has. I mean, they're in a serious financial crunch.
Yes.
And
And they'll recover from it, but
It's going to
they don't have money to do all of this
no,
right
they don't
now.
have money to
really.
burn. That's for sure.
So, and when they open up the parks, there's that balance of opening up the parks and getting enough people in there on a regular basis to support the cost that it takes to run the park.
Yeah.
So, 30% seems to be where they've decided the break-even point is. But if you're just breaking even, then you got to get beyond breaking even before you can start back to recovering so much of the profit that was lost.
That's so true.
Yeah, but I also
Of course,
think
food is food. Hamburger, $25.
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, but also though, Disney's really smart to first open up their hotels to kind of get their feet wet a little bit,
Mhm.
because they'll look at how to do crowd control easily and easier. So then the more indoor rides, because they learned how to handle indoor things
Yep.
from the hotel, so more
That's true.
indoor rides will open.
Cargo. Hi.
Hi, Cargo.
Hello.
So Cargo.
Happy belated birthday. Yes? June or July? I couldn't
I don't
remember
know.
which. I think it was
I'm
June.
terrible with birthdays.
I'm awful with birthdays too, but yeah, and I think that as far as the resorts go, I think that we're going to see more of resort only vacations.
She likes the new hair color, girl.
Thank you. I'm really nervous about it because it's lighter than I'm used to, and it's a lot more blonde and almost a white blonde to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was, if I was a guy, I might have shaved my head, but no,
I don't have to worry about
I'm-
shaving. Nature's taking care of that.
But thank you. I'm still getting used to it. It's only been a couple of days. But the resort only vacations, and we've talked about even before all this,
Mhm.
doing a resort only vacation.
Yeah.
And just maybe popping to the park for dinner or fireworks,
We
but
love
not
like
really.
Animal Kingdom Lodge or
Oh,
Wilderness
yes.
Lodge.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking of for my
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well,
We'll see.
Depends on
Remember I
where
talked
all-
about that money flow?
it all depends on all the goings ons too.
So I think they're going to see a lot more of the resort only vacations.
Thank you for listening to Cargo.
Because even with the resort reservations, that the park reservations opened up for resort guests on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and then opened up tomorrow for annual pass holders.
Woo!
And
We'll jump in line.
well, and let me tell you, I just kind of went to see sort of how it was. It was like 15, it was almost 30 minutes
Yeah.
just to get onto my Disney experience. And even though I'm registered and everything, and then once I was on my Disney experience, it was a forever waiting. You're in a waiting room,
Mhm.
and I was in the waiting room, and I went, okay, well, I obviously can't do this because I don't have a resort stay booked.
Right.
But I think their system probably crashed a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Oh,
wild.
it was so funny. I saw the funniest meme about that on Facebook. Somebody posted a picture of the computer room from Spaceship Earth, where
Right.
from the 70s with the girl with the afro and the little
yeah.
tiny skirt and all the computers and the room-sized computers, and it says Disney's IT department.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it crashed.
Oh.
The
Every
several
time
times.
Disney has a big rollout, their systems are going to crash. I don't know. It's just going to happen.
Well, and kudos to the people who attempt to
Yes.
funnel all of that, because
yes.
I don't know what you would do with
Oh, man.
millions of people all trying to
Converging
get onto
at one time.
the same thing at one time. That's way beyond my IT.
It's
Mike
like
said
one
that's
of
why they're
those
starting
websites.
Food and wine would have try opens because festivals bring in the most money to the park. That's right.
Right.
They do. They
Although
do.
I would be really nervous. Epcot is not one that I'm going to, especially during food and wine.
No.
I don't want people walking around with food and wine.
Yeah. Eating,
eating
I always like
and how
eating, I don't mind
congested
eating on a
that
trash can, but
festival
right now,
is.
not so much.
No,
Not so much.
not so much. Even though I know Disney's are exceptionally
Yeah.
clean.
And I believe
Not
Disney's
so
going to
much.
do an amazing job hygiene-wise and trying to keep everyone
Yeah.
safe. But
Which-
people are going to do, what people are going
What
to do.
people are
Yeah,
going
but
to do.
even before the whole entire shutdown for Disney, what we saw was very nice.
Great seeing you too, Jeff. You guys have a great night. God bless. We'll see you next time.
But Mr. Jeff,
Thank you for dropping in.
but it was very sanitary. You had all of the Purell stations, which I was very satisfied to see. I honestly do think that Disney is
sanitizer during all of this, because we already had a stock of about
We
30 hand
Bath and Body
sanitizer
and-
from Bath and Body and
Durex.
Purell and Germex and yes, it's kind of a thing.
You guys might have just seen a little blackout. I think our internet decided to hiccup a little bit, but I think we're back on now, maybe.
Possibly, if not, just refresh.
If not, just refresh because our internet, I think, dropped. We actually rebooted our router before we started tonight because we have such issues over here.
Let me see if
But,
I'm back up on my phone yet.
Are you back up on your phone?
Probably not.
But so anyway, so tomorrow is a big day for annual pass holders and Florida residents. So we'll be jumping on. I guess it's going to come on at 7:00 in the morning.
7 in the morning.
We'll jump too, and
There we might be back.
maybe I think it just
Maybe.
flashed again. But
Possibly.
here. I'll go check the router.
but if you lost us, just refresh. If we've disappeared, then we can't help you. Let's see. I don't know. Are we still on, guys? You'll have to let us know. Okay, so
Maybe.
Walt Disney World News Tonight just released an article. Walt Disney World releases official Disney Park Pass System tutorial ahead of annual pass holder reservations tomorrow. And it's an article written by Jessica Figaro. It says, if you're among the many eager pass holders looking to get back to your happy place, tomorrow will play a key role in planning your future trips to Walt Disney World. They said reservations for annual pass holders without a resort stay will open tomorrow, June 26th. Disney has stated that no exact time is established for the system to go live. For
7
example, many initially believed the system would go live at 7 a.m. for guests with resort reservations this past Monday, but between system-wide crashes, it was not readily available until around 10 a.m. As always, pack your patience and make sure to use Chrome as your browser to access the following link, which of course is the disneyworld.disney.go.com. Ahead of tomorrow's reservations, Disney has released a visual tutorial on the new Park Pass system. So you can see screenshots of the process as well as tips on how to access the page by clicking here, they said. But for more interactive, easy to follow instructions on the process of securing reservations, check out our video below. So they're getting ready, and we'll see how it all goes.
There are already several dates that were unavailable to the resort guests. They completely booked out. However, there were spots saved even on those dates for annual pass holders as well. So it's like the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, I think, were all booked out on Tuesday. But there were a chunk of those spots saved for approximately, I guess the total number for like Magic Kingdom was probably around 30,000. Don't quote me on it, but around 30,000. And so, there was a chunk of those 30,000 saved for annual pass holders.
Yeah.
So if that was a time that you were thinking of going, it's not that you can't go,
Right.
those spots are all gone. There are some
They're blocked
spots
out.
that
Like I said,
that
blocks.
you can. Of course, that brings up the whole annual pass debate.
Yeah.
As
Which
to
Greg just asked if we've gotten our email about the preview days. I don't think
I
we've
haven't
actually gotten an email yet. No.
whether or not to keep an annual pass, because Park Hopper is off the table for the foreseeable
Mhm.
future. You're going to have to reserve, and so if you can't reserve the dates that you're wanting to go, and you can't just decide, that afternoon that, hey, I think we'll go to Disney tomorrow, then, is that something that you still want to pay a monthly fee for if you can't really use
If you
it
can't really use it.
like it has been
is
used
there-
in the past?
Are they going to try to do different perks or maybe some added perks or benefits or
Mhm.
something to it? Yeah. Which I was glad how they handled the suspension of because we pay ours monthly through the Florida resident plan. And, those were all those payments were suspended. I think this month they picked back up again.
Right.
But yeah, then you have to start weighing it out. I was listening to a vlog yesterday where a guy was saying, his job, he gets his pass through the company, but his wife doesn't. And they're having to seriously look at it and say, is it going to be worth her keeping a pass, maybe downgrading it to like silver
Right.
if they can't get in
On the days
on the
they
days they
want
want to go, or even at all, possibly.
See,
I mean, it could
then-
be to where you don't even go
at all, and you're still paying for a
and you're
pass.
still paying for a pass.
Of course, for me, I'm on the other side of this. I'm like, well, if we gave up our annual passes now, how difficult is it going to be to
Right.
reinstate annual
And the
passes?
price of them.
And at what price?
Right, because we'll get this year the 15%
Yeah.
renewal, discount, which
Yeah.
always helps out a little bit. Unless they do the overnight, we're going to practically double your
Yeah.
pass price.
Price. That was so much fun.
But it's interesting. But
So what are y'all going to do? Are y'all
yeah, what are you guys
keeping passes,
planning
or
to
are
do?
you thinking that you're just going to let them run out and take a break? It will be interesting to see. We had talked about even towards the end of last year how it seemed like, and obviously they didn't intend COVID to happen. They didn't expect it to happen,
Right.
but they were already kind of looking at how to, it felt like Disney was looking at how to reduce the number of annual passes. And it felt like
Yeah,
that
the
was
T-box.
a direction that they were kind of starting to go,
Yeah.
was how to not discourage, but just not have everybody have annual passes.
Well, and with that being said, kind of volume control, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party's been canceled. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Christmas party.
I would be skeptical of Christmas. Depends on where we are with COVID-19. I mean, if they
Sawyer in the middle in the house. Hey,
Hey!
Kelly and family, good to have you with us tonight. We're back.
We're back.
We're talking about news and views and all kinds of stuff.
of stuff.
Waded into politics for a little while, but we made it out of that.
My least favorite subject in like the whole wide world. Even though
course,
I know you couldn't tell.
Splash Mountain was the center of the controversy.
You know, so I'm wondering if how difficult it's going to be in the future, or at what price the annual passes are going to be if you elect to cancel your passes. And of course, right now you can cancel them with no penalty.
Or anything. Yeah.
So, you know, I think Disney's been really good about all of that kind of thing as a company.
Yeah.
You know, they're not being a penalty for canceling.
Yeah, I've been impressed. You know,
adding time.
We call Disney out where we can, where we do, because I mean, you know, I always believe that nobody's perfect, and that, you know, if I truly love something, I want to see it do things. You know, I'm passionate about it. But I believe with the whole COVID thing, they've done a very good job.
They have.
I really
They've
do.
handled it really well, and better, I think, than some other entertainment industries.
Yes.
You know, I think that they are being very cautious and very careful.
Yeah, a little bit of water too.
And I think that
Becca's making me some more coffee if you guys are wondering. It's decaf, so we won't be up all night.
oh good. And I think the last thing that anybody wants is to go on vacation where it's supposed to be the most magical place on earth and end up in the hospital on a ventilator.
Yeah, Greg. Kelly said, "Why did I miss everything?" Kelly, you missed everything. You have to go back and watch. Greg says, "No park hopping until 2021." Yeah, yeah. Which is so unfortunate with the 50th coming up, and you know all this is going to change the 50th. It's going to have to, because we're not out of this thing. You know, this virus is not going anywhere. You know, until we can get two things: either a vaccine or at least a viable treatment that you know kind of can catch some of. What are you doing?
She's just.
Why are you pacing?
She's just.
Becca's over there pacing. I was like, "You want to come back into your chair, your hot seat?" Oh, she's eating a little snack there. Well, dinner was kind of on the fly tonight.
Yeah,
so we had a big lunch. But yeah,
and resort stays. You can start booking resort stays next week, I think. But resort stays are only up until September 27th.
Yeah, the 27th. Correct.
So there aren't. So your final stay day could not be beyond September 27th.
Right.
Because
3 days out
the 50th.
From the 50th. Right.
And so there is no booking right now for the 50th.
And what we did, we've actually gone through Dreams Unlimited Travel to help put together a package for the 50th, because we knew it was going to be so crazy that we've gone through them to start setting up something. And I, you know, we did that kind of early on in all this. And I'm glad we did, because it's going to take people who are on the inside track to be able to be on the phone.
Whose job it is to do this.
Because you know, and it's so unfortunate that, and somebody put this in a comment I was reading the other day, that Disney vacations are becoming so stressful. Yeah. You know, and to try to do and try to put together. But it's just, you know, so many people love Disney.
Yeah. And you know, and if y'all don't know Dis Unplugged, they're a great source of information and of news and views and different.
They got to start on Magic Candle Company, which we got a review video coming up that I'm doing. We ordered the hand sanitizer, and it is it's
wonderful,
really good. So you guys be looking for that review video. But Magic Candle Company, of course, they don't sponsor us or anything, but
officially not a sponsor of Mickey Sightings.
But they're really good people, and have a phenomenal product. And we had Polynesian in our diffuser yesterday, and it just takes us into the poly.
It's just wonderful. And speaking of going into resorts, you have to have a resort reservation or a dining reservation at that resort in order to enter the resort.
Right. You can't just go in and penetrate.
Right.
Penetrating has no cast members will have lanyards on.
No pouches. There are pin boards
in some places.
But what they're doing is when you trade a pin, you don't put the pin back on the board. You put it in a container, and that the pins in the container are then sanitized prior to being put on the
Go
board.
back roll. Kelly said that in North Carolina, they just made mask mandatory statewide starting tomorrow.
Wow,
They need to do that in Florida.
they really do.
They really do, because I ran into Walmart for about 5 minutes a day to get dog food, and that's the third time I've been to Walmart since February. Because I think the longest I've been in Walmart is maybe 20 minutes,
Maybe. Yeah.
and that was to get storage containers. And most people in there are not wearing masks, and our numbers are surging like crazy here in Florida.
And the thing about it is there's the big controversy about masks. Do they work? Do they not? Do they make things worse? And that, and
I won't tell them what I told you.
it's all a matter of opinion, but I would rather see people erring on the side of caution.
Well, the CDC is still saying for the most part they work. You cannot keep a virus is too small, to unless it is a seriously medically graded mask. But any barrier helps.
Yes.
Any barrier helps. It may not be 100%, but every layer you can do helps.
And it not only helps, this is where it's not that it only helps you,
Right.
but it's helping the people around you. So if everybody is masked, then those who have it and don't know it are not spreading it. Those who don't have it aren't spreading it. Those who do have it are hopefully quarantined, self-quarantined.
Yeah.
So
See, that's one of the issues you're seeing too, is that people are
testing
testing
out
positive
sick,
and not quarantining.
or
And
they just
it's like they don't realize that you may not have any symptoms, but you're still contagious.
yes. And I mean, even down to there are people who have it that aren't running fevers,
Right.
but yet are testing positive.
Yeah.
And testing positive multiple times.
Right.
So it's not an
false
ineffective test or a false
Right.
positive.
Yep.
It's actually they do have it. They just aren't running a fever. Well, so that's kind of like I go back to a few years ago. I had strep throat, and I didn't run a fever, so I didn't think I had strep throat because fever is like one of the main indicators of strep throat, and yet I had strep. And when I went to the doctor, I'm like, yeah, but I didn't run a fever. And they said, you don't have to. I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah.
in that case.
Kelly, going back to the mask wearing, there's, I wish, I was telling this earlier to the folks, I wish Florida, our leadership in Florida would take some of this a little bit more seriously, because I do think there's a lot of politics going on in Florida right now, unfortunately.
I wish that I could be the person who invents the mask that is comfortable to wear,
She's made masks for us, though.
breathable.
Yes. Breathable.
Not
Doesn't fog up your glasses.
doesn't fog up your glasses, and is a tight enough mesh to catch 99.9% of whatever.
See,
If I could do that, I could be a millionaire.
Well, it's like one of the reasons we're still doing church virtually is that we don't have pews, we have chairs, and all of our chairs are fabric.
Yep.
So we trying to get Lysol, something that's safe to spray on fabric that will kill the virus, has been a trial.
Yeah.
Stuff is coming on. I've just ordered some of it so that hopefully here in the next couple of weeks or so we can get back, at least in small measures,
Small
back in
measures.
church. But yeah, it's wild.
It is crazy.
But I am optimistic about what Disney's put in place, and because they're company, they're a private property. If you show up without a mask, they can send you back to the parking lot, and I'll be happy to escort people back to the parking lot. I mean, It is like they can do that, and I'm sorry, but that's okay.
It is their right, and that's okay. They can do that, and and I think it's one of those things. Just like when this all started, if we all work together for the benefit of the greater majority,
Before she knocks something over, please.
then we will all get through this, and it will be it will be okay. It's just going to take some perseverance,
And patience.
some innovation, some
Well, Kelly says that the good news is their business is selling mask wholesale. Very, very busy for us right now, and that's awesome.
Fantastic.
And that is
That
awesome.
is really
Hook
great.
us up, Kelly.
Yeah.
But Susie, she's made masks,
Yep.
and
I've made
we've
a
had
few.
people at
I've made
church make them.
some for our family and
Yep.
a couple for friends. You know, there are lots of different patterns out there. I made ours on the Cricut.
Yeah.
I love my Cricut. I have a maker, so it cuts fabric, and so you know, they were easy. I don't have, you know, great sewing abilities, but I can straight stitch, so I can make a mask.
She's very handy. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning. I'm drinking decaf coffee.
You know, I go dabble in this for a little bit and dabble in that in a little bit, and then go pick this up, and then I get into, you know, like I showed you earlier, I get into epoxy, and you know, we have some fun projects we want to do with that. And be watching. There's a video or a couple of videos that we're
We'll compile into one
compiling
video.
into one, and then you'll see our first attempt at epoxy.
Yeah, and it's cool. They did a good job
It
on it,
was
so
fun.
we'll be uploading
It
that
was
in
lots
a
of
few
fun.
days. And as we said earlier, we're in our music room. We're not in our studio. Mickey room, because it is being worked on. We're getting shelves put up in there and some other things that we're kind of tootling around. So right now, this is our temporary.
Sean has so much Disney stuff that we cannot get in the room.
That's part of it. There's so much in there, it's crazy. And then we have it scattered throughout the house too, as you can see.
Well,
we
because
we
love
love Disney. Making up some of that money we lost the last 4 months. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding, Kelly. And I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing that, making up the money.
Well, and the
That's
y'all
good.
are back open,
Yeah, that is good.
because that I know has been a major, a big question mark with a lot of businesses and a lot of smaller businesses and family-owned businesses, of whether or not they can even afford to open back up, or will just not open back up at all.
Yeah.
So we're glad that y'all are back open, and that you've got a good market for the masks right now.
Absolutely. So with that, I guess that's about it. I think that's
I
it for Mickey
suppose.
Sightings tonight. You got to eat a little bit of dinner. We're going to go watch Captain America: Civil War and as our Marvel movie night tonight. But thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank
and I
you
know I think
for
other people
welcoming
have.
us back with open arms.
People have kind of tooted on to other places, and but we want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight with Mickey Sightings, and we're back, and this will be our temporary studio
Yep.
for a little while, but we'll be doing our regular live streams on Mondays and Thursdays, but we'll also be doing some stuff. We got a couple of videos upload. Last year I had done a 4th of July series. I'm going to do some work with that again this year, as well, as we're leading up to the 4th of July, and maybe to have a little bit of celebration in the parks, even though we won't be in the parks on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
But we love you guys, and we want to
We do.
we wish you well, and we pray that you stay safe, and never lose sight of this one thing.
It
That
was
was
all
all
started by
started by
the
the
house.
Have a great night, guys. We love you.
See you real
See
soon.
you real soon.